Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time, our Ekru Void Crusade ended up failing. Ran out of lives on, I think, like the last mission. And between then and now, I got a few comments. Jesse Slack specifically had mentioned using some of the power changes to actually boost the damage dealt by skill gained as shield charge. And he had also mentioned using potentially psalm codes. So naturally I went, swapped out some of the powers, so both Firestorm and Extermination give me shield. And I thought, okay, I'll run a few missions to kind of demo this, get a feel for how it's going to play, since I lose armor breaking. So I ran a few missions. Most of them were just intel, since I have, I think, 80 intel or close to, and I got this armor. I don't even care what the effects are. Granted, the 9.5% damage reduction for melee and ranged is great, and the 9.5% HP gain is great since that's around 400 HP, but the 6 slots are perfect, because I was going through the Psalm Doctrines trying to find something that would be really good, something that I can leverage, and I realized of the 6 slots, I didn't need to use all 6. I needed just 5 to get the 12% of damage dealt is gained as HP and shield charge. So all my attacks, abilities, everything give me HP and shield, and then I just toss the 25% damage reflection on there, because why not? Makes me even more durable. So because of that, I'm a lot more capable at fighting these guys. So I'm eager to start a new Void Crusade. I would run Ekru again, but I don't have enough shards, so we'll just start an Amber one. And I have the proper way of going about this in front of me, so we'll go for this one, then this one. At 69, it's a rescue. We'll actually toss a few modifiers on it. Alright, we'll go Void Shards and then Tarot gains. Enemies have a chance to spawn demons, double the amount of supporting enemies and enemy groups. Okay, that's all completely easy.
Transfer complete. Teleportarium locked down. As far as I know, all the Imperials who asked for immediate help have been found. I fed the coordinates to your tactical sensorium. Save as many of these unfortunate devils as you can. But for what greater or darker purpose, I wonder.
I mean, look at that. All that shield gained off one group. And then I can just run through all these guys, get free shield. This definitely made this run. And I'm glad I ran those missions, those random intel ones, because that's what got me this. And without this armor, I would be probably just running like Ordo missions. I mean, I still want to run Ordo missions so I can get better rewards out of them. But that's all I would have been running, just to try to build up levels and find something good. Now it's going to be tough to find something that can beat this, because really giving me 12% of all damage as healing, and then that stacking on top of a couple of my abilities giving me even more. Admittedly, I don't know if I don't think it's multiplicative. I think what it is likely... Oh, I hit the wrong button. But I think they just add together, so some of my abilities are 27% as opposed to potentially being like 15% and then 12% of that 15, like the combined 15 and whatever damage, or yeah, the 15% damage, then 12% of that, which I think actually might be better, having them stack than to do one after the other. Yeah, it's very rare now at this point that I actually take health damage. I think the only time it's really happened was one mission. I think I was fighting a... it's an Eldar vehicle, the Fire Prism. That was the one time that I was struggling, and that's to be expected, because Fire Prisms suck. Short of that, I was doing good. Now I want to see what else I can really modify my gear to be like. Because realistically, I could probably get another 5 to 6 slots if I want to. I can actually put them into a weapon, but it's really expensive to do so. And from there I could sit down and put another 12% probably for health and shield, but I don't know how that's exactly going to calculate, and it might just be overkill. I know there are some things that are like, hey, half of your damage is now warp. And it's tempting. It really is. I've contemplated it a few times. I just don't know how good it would be. Might be something I have to test later on.
Go to the extraction zone.
I wish you could do this for the Tech Adept, but make it so the constructs you summon can get the shield. Because I've had Tech Adept constructs where I put a module that gives them shields. And I'm like, yeah, shields! And then it's something where it's like, oh, they get 300 shields and they regen 5 points a second. One hit, the shield's gone, and they're never getting it again for the mission. At those points, I'm just waiting for them to die so I can spawn them back in to get the shields. And sometimes that's tough because it's like the Castellan robots, so they take a beating. It's not like the Siloy Vivisectors or anything like that, where if they survive a fight, it's kind of shocking.
Good job. I thought the Inquisitors were less proficient at...
Actually, let's quick mulch loot. I shouldn't even look at armor. It's not going to be worth the investment, considering what I have. Yeah, that looks fair.
stimuli link has been
Oh, check this out too. This is cool.
Subject in severe distress identified. Hostiles are attempting forced
I just
entry
get
to the
free
vault where
shield for you
subject
popping
is
this ability.
located. Vault integrity compromised. Termination is imminent without inquisitorial assistance.
I don't know why I get free shield, but I'll always take it because it's free shield. Man, I'm really excited because I haven't had, like, the Weird Vein Staff was my last big power boost, and that wasn't like a really marked increase, but then this is just a huge boost to my overall damage and survivability. I mean, look at this. I'm sitting at, like, capped out shield because I just get so much. My biggest challenge is I might have to redo part of my skill tree because I think there was a skill I picked up that reduces my warp heat when I get kills. And that's gonna end up keeping me out of, like, unhinged a lot. And I need to keep myself in unhinged. But this armor, the weird thing is it's armor of insanity, which to me sounds like increasing warp heat on kill. Which there is armor that does that, I've seen it. So that might be a thing I'm getting. Which, if true, is huge because that gives me so much more to work with. But it's just the matter of if it pans out or not. That's kind of what I'm wondering at this point, is what my gear is going to look like at the end. Yeah, you see that my warp... Well, I guess I don't need to sit at max warp heat all the time, because the whole thing is dropping abilities to throw myself into high warp heat when I need it. So I guess in a way it works out really well. Because this way I'm not continually getting swarmed with extra demon spawns. Oh, also, something I saw that was really, really cool. I actually have to grab the person, but there was a random teleporter in one of the missions I was running, and I thought, oh, you know, random teleporter is probably just going to take me back to, like, kind of the hub area here so that I can move to the next location. I just kind of thought, you know, whatever, I'll do it. Cuts a little bit of time out of the run. I used it. The teleporter took me to an area that was not marked on the map, but had a boss and a loot chest. So now I have to check every teleporter in case they're like a secret room kind of teleporter. Which I never knew that could be a thing, and now I think that's really cool. Part of me wants to believe it's just a map generation error, but I feel like that would have been an error that got caught. Yeah, now I just need a demon forged weapon. That would make this build, I think, the best, but it would really depend on what the weapon becomes. You know, I can't get some dumpy all-resistance item. It'd be good. You know, that's just free damage reduction. But I kind of need damage. Since all of my current survivability relies on me being able to put out more damage to get more health and shield. It's more of an active, aggressive tank than a passive tank. Which is cool. I usually, in games I play, like very passive tanky builds. Or, I know for like League of Legends I always would play, I do like jungle tank, and would sit there and have as much like damage reflection so that I could just jump on people, and if they hit me I'm just hurting them back. Never did competitive. I can't stand competitive in most games. I don't need some 12-year-old screaming at me. The only game, realistically, that I could tolerate competitive in was MAG. And they never actually had a competitive mode. It was just a bunch of clans who were like, hey, we're gonna do scrims. And I remember you couldn't actually get people to, like, do a lobby. So what you did was you do clan deploy, and then you would have the other, like, leader of another clan you're facing off against do deploy, and then you would just sit there, time it 3, 2, 1, and both click at the same time and hope you got put into a match. Those were, I won't say good old days, they were old days. Fun times, though. See, the Fulgurite shards in Other might be really useful. That energy shield efficiency, I might be able to make something work with that. What exactly? I don't know. But I think with enough monkeying, I probably could do something.
The agents of the ruinous powers created warp rifts in the area. We have to seal these gates, or we will face a demonic incursion, and we're both aware of the consequences.
God, I just love this. Because now, when I was just running the Psyker ability modifiers to give me shields, I was worried that I would forget which ones gave me the boosts, which I did half the time. But now knowing I can still just use whatever, just some of them are better than others, that is a very nice feeling, because it's the security of like, hey, I can still kind of screw up and still be fine. Makes me wish, like, a game like Destiny or Anthem, if it had lasted long enough, could have had systems like this. Because I think this is really cool. I like the idea of being like, hey, you can just get overshield if you're built a certain way. And it's not something you can easily get. You know, you can't just, oh, I god rolled or did whatever and got this. This is, I mean, it is kind of a god roll, but at the same time it's just, you got slots, you have the items that you can use. It's rewarding, but it more or less rewards you for just playing the game. You know, I can't just focus farm like games like Destiny are allowing. Man, how am I getting that speed boost? I have to look. Because I do appreciate just dropping like a firestorm on someone and then just speeding away. Because it seems to only be that, nothing else seems to trigger the ability. I mean, look at that, I'm chewing through a lot of guys, honestly. And it's on my level, so it's not like I'm taking damage penalties or getting bonus damage. I'd say that's a pretty solid fight and solid takedown. And this is honestly how it should be. These are essentially trash mobs, and I'm not just sitting here going around basicking everyone. I do miss, one thing I miss from Diablo is the Witch Doctor. Just because their blowgun, I used to always, no matter what my build was, I'd use the snake projectile. Just because it's so funny launching a snake at someone's face.
Reconnaissance force relieved. Send basic. Follow and protect order to the survivors.
The blues aren't that great, but it's whatever. Also, it really messes me up that greens are better than blues. Because every other looter I know of goes white, green, blue instead of white, blue, green. Or, actually, I should check this just to be... Yeah. Common, Mastercrafted, Rare, Artificer, Relic, Archaeotech Relic, Ancient Relic, Morality. Ancient Relic is higher than Archeo? Huh. I did not even realize that. I've been going through thinking Archaeotech Relic was just the step up, and then there was Archaeotech.
Perhaps we can save the day after all.
Admittedly, I think that's kind of the fault of making them just light orange and more saturated orange. I always hate when games do that. It's kind of like with Borderlands. How they started introducing, if you remember, like Borderlands 2, they had like gem ones for, I think, the Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep. They had all these like sub-rarities. And it just completely confused me, and I thought they were just the most annoying things. I understand having like common, uncommon, rare, and then if you wanted like Mastercraft rare, which is just under legendary, and then you have Mastercraft legendary, and then your epic or exotic or whatever, and kind of having ones like that. Because on those, like I look at like Destiny, where they have like the gold trim, or now there's like a red trim on some rarities, and I get that. That is discernible, and it's not skipping a tier, it's just kind of a sub-tier. But making a separate tier the same color, or extremely close, just kind of bugs me. It's bad UI. Honestly, that's what it is. It's bad UI design, because it's very misleading for players. One thing I thought was cool was Prismatic Rare in Borderlands, but that just existed for like the final DLC to preclude Borderlands 3. Which, I mean, it wasn't bad, it's just
Of a cataclysm.
I couldn't really tell you what made the pearlescent
You deserve it.
any more special. Alright, so that we're off to a good start, I think, and it's about time to call it. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button, it helps out the channel a lot. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.